All right, so in this video, we're going to cover the Chapter 7 Season 3 map. It's a totally new map, so I want to go over how it is competitively, best POIs, all the best drop spots, all the little secret stuff that's in there as well, and probably a bunch more that I already can't remember in this intro. Let's get into it. I know everyone here loves a spreadsheet, but I've added all of the POIs and all the splits, just like literally all of the POIs here, and I've painstakingly gone through and gotten all of the, different stuff that they have individual, and then I've ranked them all here. So I think the obvious one that stands out here is obviously the Battlewoods. So Battlewoods has basically the most of almost everything. Not really slurps. I guess it literally has the most of everything. Has the most ammo chests, has the most, or ammo boxes, has the most chests. So you need to take these numbers kind of with a grain of salt, because I've kind of like just included what you'd roughly get in the whole POI. Now, obviously, this POI itself is massive, right? If you compare it to something like this one, which I can't remember the name of off the top of my head, there's obviously not as much space there. So in terms of like how many teams are going to land here, obviously there's going to be more teams landing in Battlewood. Just in terms of like sheer numbers, this thing does have it all. One of the main selling points, of course, here is this building here, which has 14 100% spawn rate chests. Now, if you actually look at the 100% spawn rate chests here, it's one of the only POIs with a considerable amount of them. I've actually not been in that building yet, so I don't actually know what's going on there. A lot of other ones have some 100% spawn chests, and a lot of these are also in some of the vaults that are underground as well, which is the same with the rare chests too, which we'll kind of come back to a little bit later. But yeah, in terms of actual loot, like the amount of loot you'll get here is by far the most. Also, if you're wondering why these chest numbers are kind of random, like it's not like fully rounded, it basically a Syrian that I've used to figure this out calculates their spawn rate when it's doing this. So, if it's 50% chance of spawn rate, then it'll be half a chest, for example. So thanks to KXR here, who made this kind of preview map. This isn't like a drop map in terms of like for a specific tournament. This is just kind of where everyone seems to be landing. And so far, the teams that we've got landing here are Swizzy and Pixie, Finn Mason, Reason Noah, and then Akira and Kurama. So, there's kind of two ways you'd split this, north and south. I mean, I don't know if it's a coincidence at all, but Swizzy Pixie also won the Divisional 1 Cup yesterday. So, or, they placed first. It's a 2-day event, obviously. So, already the strongest POI having a big performance in literally like the first non-performance eval cup. Finally, I went into the VOD to check, and they've actually gone to Calamari Canyon in this match. I don't know if this is what they did every game. All right, okay, they were landing here in game 1. I don't know if they swapped up later into the tournament, but as you can see, the drop spot has the most loot in it, and look at the amount of teams which are landing here in this match. This is obviously Div 1. There's a lot of teams, to the point where actually Pixie ended up dying off spawn in this game as well. So these are the kids who have landed in the 100% spawn rate building. But yeah, I would, despite the fact it has the most loot, I would predict that this is basically how every single gate tournament's going to go here. If you actually zoom out and look at the drop spot, it's extremely splittable, right? Like you can land at a building or like take one or two spots, like, maybe one of these two or these buildings, and then just leave. So I think in particular in high level tournaments, absolutely, this is just going to be super duper conned. There's just no way you're going to have like one team being uncontested the entire thing. So take the numbers with a grain of salt that it has the most of everything. Now this building here on the southeast or the east side here of Battlewoods, if you go down into the basement, there's this mystery door for 500 gold. So I will open it for 500 gold. And right now has spawned all of the gold bars. So how much is this actually? Let me break this. Holy smokes. So out of that, I got 6,400 gold. That seems worth it, I'll be honest. I think that was the gold bars I was mentioning before. I think that changes every game. Let me jump into another match and try. Another note on this whilst I'm here is that John Wick's dog can actually spawn here too. So if you go into the basement, you can end up killing all the NPCs that spawn. There we go. And then you release the dog, and he gave me the gold lancet, but you can also get a mythic lancet pistol. You also have to make sure that you pet him at the same time. Again, this gun's not very good, let's be honest. But when he disappears there, he gives you max HP and max shield. So you could actually play Storm and get like a 300, or if you just needed some shield, you could just grab them from the dog here. I think you can also spawn in Sinister and maybe somewhere else. But you can definitely spawn in Sinister and Battlewoods. All right, going back for mystery door number 2. Let's see what we've got ourselves this time. All right, just a bunch of chests. So I mean, it's not always great. So I think you're not always going to get those gold bars. You're not always going to get anything else. 2 chests, probably not worth getting in here at all for that. I think if you don't see like any of the chest sound here, like I didn't there, it might be worth opening it, because again, I mean, I think the opening is always worth, because if you get all that gold, you got 6k gold like I had last time, then you're going to be absolutely stacked to buy like chug jugs, ammo, best guns you possibly can. So yeah, just in terms of sheer loot, this place is by far the best, unsurprisingly. And the next thing we need to talk about is also like positioning on the map. So if we look at the distribution of the POIs, Lifty Lodge, Latte, Wonky, Golden, Cluster, Sunken, Harbor, and then Chopped. All of these POIs are like right on the edge of the map, as you can see. So like there's almost a ring of POIs around the complete edge of the map. Then you have a ring inside. The center obviously is here where there's this rift. And in Battlewoods, Sinister Strip and Frosted Flats are all what I'd call like mid-map POIs. You could maybe include Calamari in that too. I guess it's kind of close to the edge, but it's not like right. I mean, it is right at it, but it's not as edge as like Chop Shop is, for example. This, I mean, Cluster Coast, maybe the most edge POI ever. Like rotating from here in this zone is so bad. But Frosted Flats, Battlewoods, and Sinister Strip, both, all what I would say was like mid-map POIs. And the one thing we've learned from last season is that in this meta, not being at the edge, like these POIs, is so good because you don't take any storm, and you can basically insta-rotate if you want to into like mid-map if you want to get to like center of third zone, fourth zone, something like that. Or if you're going to play storm, you're not going to go into the storm until the second zone. So if you watch any of my videos, you'll know that mid-map POIs have been really good, or not necessarily mid-map, because the whatever one was right here last season wasn't fantastic because everyone's rotated into it. But basically POIs that are not right on the edge. So Battlewoods is even better for that reason now. Same with Frosted and same with Sinister. And let's talk about Sinister right now then. As you can see, kind of just like a mid POI loot wise, honestly. Like it doesn't look great. Like chests 19. The average from all the POIs is 26. And 19, I think 19 is actually the lowest now that I look at it. Yeah, 19.88. Second lowest, Chopped is the lowest. So in terms of actual loot, not the best by any means. But it's mid-map, as we said. It has also one of the vaults, one of the gold vaults there, as you can see with 3 chests. And it also has the mythic sliders. Man, they put a helmet on my boy. He's not very happy right now. So yeah, from the in Sunken here, right here, also the Baba Yaga, the dog can spawn. So you have a potential of getting it here. But again, you're probably not going to incomp because the gun's kind of pants. You can also still use the head to rotate. Not like incredibly. It's not magic. By any means, you don't go as far. Oh, no, you do. I take it back. So, yeah, the head, you can still use to rotate. Still very good. Of course, you don't have the mist this time, so you can't do the combination of the nade and the mist that was seen in the majors. You can still use it to rotate. So, from this drop spot, still very good. Here's the vault, which is right underneath the head. Again, so if you manage to open and get one of the key cards, you can just go in here, grab a little extra rare chests. And most importantly, if you go into the prison building here, this is where you're going to get the mythics. If you go down, or the mythics singular, if you go down. Everyone probably knows this by now, but this is electrocuted. You can't open it. So, basically, you have to follow this cable and then push a button. Here we are. Slide through here, open this, and then you push this so it shuts down the security grid, and now that door should be openable. Yep, come back here and you'll see the electricity is off on this side. Oh, sorry, you need to do it on the other side as well. There's 2 of them. Yep, here's the second one, just the same thing. Now the door is openable. Now the mythic is not a 100% spawn rate chance, but it comes from one of these blue chests. I got the normal boots, which means I don't think I got the mythic. Unfortunately, it's not 100% and I did not get it, and I'm not going to do it again, but basically it never overheats and has infinite uses. So for solos in particular, unbelievably overpowered. And I'm not sure how teams are using it in duos. So you can see currently really the only team landing here, or pro team really, is Chino and Pablo. This is obviously based on their drop spot from last season anyway. It's pretty much the exact same thing, but in a slightly different position. So they seem to be the only team landing here. I'll check one of their games and see if they take the mythic or find it or not. So just from looking through the games, I've not seen a single game where they actually ended up getting the boots. So I looked through. I don't even know if I've not gone into the actual match to see, if they've opened it and just didn't get it. Most of the games, they're just carrying double shocks anyway, and most teams are overdrive grenades, and most teams are just carrying those anyway. So maybe in duos it's not going to be as impactful, but either way, this is the drop spot that has it. For solos, nutty drop spot. So Battlewoods, insanely good. Sinister Strip, also good, mainly because they're both mid-map, and this one has mythic as well. Heatwave Harbor has the mythic pump, and you have like a guaranteed chance of getting a gold pump as well from here. Very unsurprisingly, based on last season, Thomas and Focus are going here again. So it was the same spot that they got the mythic shotgun from last time. Same part of the map as well. So I'm sure they're pretty comfortable with how playing this. This POI is slightly better now because there's like an actual split down behind them. So there's more teams to like tag for search and stuff. But basically the same teams are kind of just playing for very, very similar drop spots to what they were in the previous season already. Scrolling through, we've got Frosted Flats here, which has Sky and Scroll landing there. A lot of contention on the split up above. Wonky Land no longer got any like major teams. Of course, Hutty and Fishy's still kind of landing here, but they weren't a big player in most of the actual season at all. Any big names? Vico Malabuca, Idrop for Doxy, all landing up here, which means there's probably some good rotate tech. This is kind of similar to the season 1. I don't know if any of these launch pads are high pads. I probably need to check that as well to see if any of them there were. A lot of teams landing at Chopped Shop, even though it's probably the worst loot wise and position wise. I don't know if there's any like cool stuff. Again, there's probably a lot I'm missing. I've not landed at all these drop spots and seen what like all these are from and like what you can do with each one of them, things like that. Shark and Teeny landing in Calamari Canyon. So one thing about calamari that's actually way better, not way better, but it's slightly better, marginally better than every other drop spot, is that it actually has 4 mending machines. Or does it? Yeah, it does. Okay, I was right. It does have 4. So there's 3 mending machines here, and as you can see with the weapon vending machine, there's a 33% chance it's assault rifle, like 1/3 chances could be shotgun, 1/3 chances SMG, and then of course you've got like the mending machine and then the weapon-o-matic, I think. There's also another weapon one up here as well. So there's a high chance that you can buy, like, if you've got a ton of gold from this drop spot, you can get a bunch of like a good shotgun, a good AR, a good SMG. Of course, most players are just going to be using like the vending machine, but this also, like, you know, for heals, sorry, the mending machine. But this also means that if you need ammo, like if you've got rubbish ammo for a key, for a team like Teeny and Sharko and a W key a bunch, like you can just buy, you know, SMG might be in here and then AR might be in here and you can get whatever you need. I have seen a lot of the W key teams kind of struggle with ammo a lot just in the very few matches I've watched from this season so far. So having 2 of these is a little advantage. It's obviously very minor. This is not probably why they're landing here, but it's a cool note. On top of that, like just looking around the map, and then there's so many vending machines across everywhere, and almost all of them have like the triple spawn. So every POI has a triple spawn vending machine. So it has like one of the mendings, one of the weapon mags, and then the special, what's the other one called? I don't know. There's 3 types. So you can get mobility, you can get heals, and you can get ammo and weapons from every single POI that I've listed so far. So yeah, just in terms of what you can get from each of them, Sunken Shores here and Latte Landing are by far the worst in terms of loot. The good thing about Latte Landing though is the golds that you can get, like cash registers. There's like 5 on average that you can get from here. Obviously there's another POIs as it too, like Lifty Lodge, Battlewoods, but these are massive POIs. Like the way I kind of measured Lodge was like almost this whole area because it's huge. So you're gonna have a lot of teams landing here. Whereas Latte gold wise, it's obviously like very small. You might have 2 teams here. You might get it uncontested. So there's a high chance of you getting a lot of gold, which is obviously fantastic with mending machines, but it is kind of pants outside of that. And then same thing with Battlewoods, you know what we talked about already, but a lot of this gold is already kind of separated and split across a lot. So basically Latte is the worst loot, but at least it has some gold. And then Sunken Shores, is this just the worst POI? Like, is there something I'm missing about this? Again, I haven't landed here yet, so I don't know like if there's is there any secrets in this drop spot or anything that I'm unsure of? I don't know, but it's like the worst on almost everything, and it's down here. Like what's good about it? Like surely this can't just be like this bad of a drop spot. Am I trolling? There's probably something I'm missing with like the way you can play it or anything like that. The one thing I would also say is with all these water POIs, you can just use the boot on the water to rotate because they don't overheat on water. So maybe with this drop spot, you know, you could have some like crazy edge map rotates where you go all the way around. But so far I'm seeing this as an absolutely horrible drop spot. Again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something here I don't know, but it looks truly terrible for competitive. The main question, of course, is where are people landing? What's actually a hot drop, all these kind of things. I've shown you like so where some of the pros are already going thanks to KXR for EU. However, Assyrian, they're not sponsoring this video, but I basically use them in every extra video, so shout out. You can use their site if you want to look through the stuff. I don't know if this is one of the paid features or not. You can look at the landing locations and then you can filter it by tournaments. So this right here is Div 5. So obviously this isn't going to be the best players, but this is very applicable to a lot of people. The spots that everyone's landing, I mean, the fact that so many people are landing at this rubbishy spot, the POI, is kind of crazy. I can't believe that, actually. Maybe I'm gonna have to go check this out in a second. I'll go check this out in replays and we'll see what's there. So mid-map, as we already talked about here, this isn't even a POI. This is a big rock. So one of the most common things you'll be noticing here is that this is like a little rock in the middle of the map that stands up. So any high points have a lot of players landing. So, you know, this spot up here near Lifty Lodge as well has a ton. Lifty in general, Helicon. This spot too, me and DJ landed here in a scrim and there was 4 teams landing on the spot with us. It's literally just 2 houses. You can get some good gold from it, but it's just a couple houses. It is not good enough to have this many teams landing here. A couple of people are landing around here. This drop spot, Frosted Flats, seems to not have a lot of players landing at it. Sinister Strip, similar. You know, I don't know why so many players land down here. Golden Cove. But you can see the mid-map POI is not super conned. This isn't a POI, of course. That's just a hill. Yeah, there's a lot of teams in the lower divisions really trying to land on edge, which, as we already talked about, is not the best strategy. And I've switched this now to Division 1, so slightly different. And you can see the kind of difference, right? But there's a lot more teams who are landing central, right? This spot's still very conned. A lot more people landing Sinister. A lot more people landing here, which is like a little building looking off to my other screen. I think it's a little building. A lot more players in Frost as well. So, I mean, it probably says a lot that a lot of the good teams, like in Division 1 instead of Div 5, are landing more central. Of course, there's still a lot of teams landing in Golden Grove. This spot still, I am gonna look into this in a second. I've just slated this drop spot. Now I need to actually look into it. Down at the bottom here, not as many people landing in Heatwave for the Mythic Pump. And yeah, Lifty always gone. I mean, it seems like in any tournament, this part of the map is just going to be hella contested. There is obviously a lot of loot there, but yeah, there's just a lot of teams landing there because of the positioning too. People do seem to be landing specifically on the duck head, the little boat here, which I'm not entirely sure why. Right off the rip, there's a lot of fishing spots which you can use with EMPs you can get. You can also shoot them with the exploder AR. Every single one of these, you can just shoot a single shot to fish them. Is that an exploder AR? Is that... Oh my god. That was a burst. Oh, that would have been too scripted if there was a... Oh, it is. Look at this. Perfect. Not scripted. Course. So you can land up here, grab the weapon. I guess people are probably landing in this spot in particular because of the floor spawn up here. And if you grab them, if someone's conning, I can bang, bang, bang. And also I've got this, and now I've literally got like the most fish possible around here. So you basically want to find the duck which has sunglasses on. It's just the suspicious duck. And it'll give you the duck key. For some reason, it does not have an icon. It's just a card key, like a generic slot. That's funny. And then when you go to the building right next to all of the weapon-o-matics and stuff, come in here, put the key in here to display the duck, and then you'll go down into the basement. And you do have a little vault. There's a lot more loot down in here. Can you break down that way? Yeah, you can. Okay. Down here, there's some barrels. Come in here. And then you've got some, gold spawns. This spot. I mean, this is all right, actually, if you've got a bunch of gold in here. I do realize. Okay, so I guess you've got the vault in here, which is all right. You have gold. How much gold am I getting from this whole spot? Please break. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I guess maybe this is worth... Oh, you get a mythic hunting rifle. Okay, I missed the mythic hunting rifle. Fairly certain hunting rifles are not going to be in comp, by the way, but that's good. And I guess I got 3.4k gold, so you know what? Maybe I take it back. This spot actually does have something to offer. Did not realize that at all. A toilet I took through also just took me to here from the... From the vault. So, not too far. Sorry, quite a good rotate to actually make. You can't obviously go back in, which, if you've got to go far, it's fine. But even in this game, I'm in Storm. Like, I'm just testing. I literally found the duck and went straight to the vault, recorded, and I'm already in Storm. So, this being so edge is not great. Like, imagine I'd landed Shaken Sanctuary here. I still have all this time to loot before I've taken a single bit of storm damage. All right, now looking at the terrain, this is also quite important. Firstly, actually, before I talk about that, rift in the middle. Now, this rift has actually been buffed quite a lot. Now that you can drop from the glider, this means that rifting is no longer quite that risky. So, you can fly over somewhere and then just drop down and not die quite as easily. In the mid-map, firstly, this terrain is so good. Like, the way that this has actually been designed is fantastic because there's so many little, like, if you're rotating past here, you can kind of hide from all the players who are, like, sitting on the surge base and things. With the center map, there is a few little hills and stuff. This obviously was pretty prominent. I guess there wasn't that many southeast zones now that I think about it in Major 1 and whatnot, but this hill, insane surge spot. Visibility from here is literally unbelievable. So mid-map teams doing really well. Remember, this has a lot of teams, a lot of players just landing on it straight away. So I imagine this is like, I feel like this is a spot that Cammy would just set at or something, but I don't know if they're going there either way. Again, you can kind of see that it's not super flat. Obviously, like there's a lot of changes of gradient and whatnot. There's not a huge amount of like massive hills outside of that spot. It's usually like relatively flat. There's something else over there. There's another little large one. There's also this one over to the east, and then there's another one here. So the center has like a bunch of little bumpy hills, but they're not huge. Like, of course, this thing is way more massive up to the top left. But, last season in Major 2, the whole north was basically these insanely big hills with like massive cliffs. Whereas this kind of here is like the only spot where there's just these like massive verticals. I guess there's, this as well, which I think a lot of players are very thankful for. The end games here are going to suck, no doubt. Everywhere else is like, you don't have these massive changes in gradients where like, oh, if you play low ground, you're totally dead. But yeah, this spot here, of course, this is where I saw Ferdoxy and what Vico and Malibu are landing as well. So any north zones, they'll be chilling. I would imagine, I don't know on NA, but I would imagine Acorns landing here. Very similar to how they were playing in the previous season as well. Final thing I want to say is that this map looks beautiful. Feels like an OG Fortnite map. It's not dark. It's not ugly. Looks good. I've got some beautiful shots for other videos already that I'm working on. So shout out to the art team at Epic making this look like Fortnite. Who would have thought? Like the video, subscribe. Catch you for another one later in the week. Peace.